Today's video is brought to you by Card Kingdom. We will go to combat, we will hit you with Rankle, we will choose 0 modes, and activate Tinybones, Tenyu. Woo! Tinybones! Tinybones! Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Against the Odds, and we got a sweet one this week. We are playing Jumpstart in Historic. Last week, we had an all Jumpstart Against the Odds poll, and it was Tinybones Trinket Thief, just absolutely dominating the field, like doubling up the next closest card. So we're heading to Historic to play Tinybones, essentially a Historic 8-rack style deck, except we don't have any actual racks in the format, so we got to get creative, but mono-backed Tinybones discard deck. So let's talk about the deck. I'm excited for this one. I think this deck is super sweet. Jump right into the game. So our namesake card, our Jumpstart card, our pool winning card is Tinybones Trinket Thief. So Tinybones, it does two things. Both of them sort of discard related. As a 2-drop, it makes it so if an opponent discarded a card, on that step, we get to draw a card. So that's a nice little bonus. In our deck, it's mostly happening during our turn. We have Tinybones, we make our opponent discard, we get an extra card each turn. Simple and easy. Then, after we get our opponent empty-handed, we can pay 6, and each opponent who has no cards in hand loses 10 life. So in some ways, Tinybones is also like a weird rack effect. Giving us a way to kill our opponent once we get them empty-handed is a reward for making our opponent discard cards. So early game, make our opponent discard, draw extra cards. Late game, get our opponent empty-handed, drain them out of the game with Tinybones. That is the main plan of our deck. So to go along with Tinybones, we get some more discard payoffs. One of them is Waste Not. So Waste Not, this card's really been growing on me. Basically, whenever our opponent discards a card, we get some sort of benefit. If it's a creature, we get a zombie. If it is a land, we get some mana. And if it's a non-creature, non-land, we get to draw a card. So this is another card that rewards us for playing a bunch of discard in our deck. A nice backup to Tinybones. But really, probably our best backup payoffs to Tinybones are Davriel and Liliana, Waker of the Dead. And what makes these cards so amazing in our deck is not only are they discard payoffs to some extent, they're also discard cards. So like Davriel, we can tick down up to 3 times to make an opponent discard a card. Then at the beginning of our opponent's upkeep, if they have 1 or less cards in hand, they take 2 damage. So it's essentially a rack style effect on a Planeswalker. Liliana, Waker of the Dead might not look like a rack style card, but we can plus to make everyone discard. And if you can't discard, well, an opponent can't. We don't have to take damage from it. But if you can't discard, the opponent loses 3 life. So this is similar to Tinybones, another card that allows us to force our opponent to discard, but then also punishes our opponent for being empty-handed. Can also be removal, reanimate stuff, but really, it's in our deck to plus, get our opponent empty-handed, keep plussing, drain our opponent out of the game with Tinybones. So these cards make our opponent discard and give us payoffs for discarding. Then we have just discard cards. Burglar Rats makes our opponent discard a card. Heartless Pillage makes our opponent discard 2 cards. Rankle, Master of Pranks, kind of cute in this deck because it can make our opponent discard, can also make each player draw a card, which we could do some shenanigans with if our opponent's like empty-handed, but we have a Liliana or a Davriel or something like that, a Burglar Rats in hand. We can hit our opponent, make each player draw with Rankle, and then force our opponent to discard the card to trigger our Tinybones, get some value that way, trigger our Waste Nots. Then we just have removal, eliminate, kills things. Liliana's Triumph, kind of cute if we have Liliana. Not only does it make our opponent sack a creature, but makes them discard a card, so we can do this on our opponent's draw step. Murderous Rider kills anything, gives us a lifelinking blocker. Phyrexian Arena, a little bit more card draw. Otherwise, mana base, Castle Lockway to draw cards, some swaps, some Field of Ruins to get rid of Field of the Dead. Sideboard for aggro, Gifted Etherboard Rituals for control, duress, and Sorcerer's Spyglass. Ratchet Mob, kind of a catch-all. Grafdigger's Cage for those annoying Uros and Cauldron Familiars. Virulent Plague for Field of the Dead tokens primarily. And that is Tinybones discard for Historic. That's our Against the Odds deck for this week. Let's jump into some games, see this deck in action. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy it, and I will talk to you soon. Today's video is brought to you by Card Kingdom. And right now you can get this sweet Scoop Soldier sticker when you order over at cardkingdom.com. Just mention in your order notes that you want a Scoop Soldier sticker when you go to checkout. Against the Odds time, we are making our opponent's discard Tinybones in Historic. Basically, pretty close to Historic 8-rack. Well, alright. We can get our opponent empty-handed, assuming we draw lands, and we have a rack. One of the weird things about this deck is we don't get real racks, because they don't exist in Historic, but, alright, Swamp's fine. Land go. So opponent, probably trying to ramp into something. Well, ooh, walls. Interesting. Well, we will eliminate Overgrown Battlement. Well, now we try to empty our opponent's hand. Land an Overgrown Battlement. Well, play a land, and I think we just keep killing Overgrown Battlements. That would have been a lot of mana if our opponent got to keep that. Wall of Blossoms for our opponent. Draws a card. Land and passes. Well, Castle Lochwain, Rankle. Go attacking. Each player discards. Oh boy, opponent's all in on the wall plan. Towering Titan. Overgrown Battlement. High Alert. Alright, so opponent's got some big things. The good news is... Alright, how do we do this? So we can empty our opponent's hand. Let's play Murderous Rider. Get in with Rankle. Discard Sack. We'll discard Heartless Pillage. We'll sack Murderous Rider. So now we gotta beat a 4/4. Opponent draws. Hits us. Yeah. Dive down. Well, we take 7. Play Davriel. Play a Swamp. This actually does not feel great, but we're gonna get in with Rankle. Each player draws, each player sacks. Play Waste Not. Davriel.
I don't think you'll be needing that.
We get a zombie. Opponent takes Davriel damage. Come on, Tinybones. We need a Tinybones. Opponent land. It scoops it up. Oh, no Tinybones, but the plan worked. Opponent went walling us like crazy, but we got there somehow. All right, opponent's ramping into really big creatures on the top end. Although our discard plan worked pretty well. Opponent also has a ton of 2-drops. All right, how do we want to sideboard against walls? I think we'll go down Phyrexian Arena. We'll go down a Heartless Pillage. We'll go up the 2 Ritual of Soots. And maybe go down Arena for Gifted Aetherborn. Let's try it like that for now. We could bring in the Ratchet Bombs because our opponent has a lot of 2-mana walls, but... Well, that actually went pretty reasonably, even though we didn't have a Tinybones. No Tinybones for shenanigans, but ooh, all right. This hand has Tinybones. I like it. All right, opponent. Let's see what you got. Show us the walls. Land, go. Tinybones is going to be key here, I think, because hopefully it will draw us into lands, which is essential. Well, land and Tinybones. High Alert for our opponent. Turning on the dorks, getting in no blocks. Not a land. Well, Bugler Rat. We really need to draw lands. That's number 1. Opponent discards. We go attacking. We draw... Ooh, double Field of Ruin. That's awkward. All right, Overgrown Battlement. Gets in. We will block. All right, we draw a Swamp. Well, let's murder Overgrown Battlement. Go attacking. Alright, Salt Formation's fine. Opponent gets and hits us. Down to 9. Ooh, Waste Not. Well, play the land, play Waste Not. Eliminate the Wall of Blossoms. Tinybones. Get in. Down to 15. I like where we're at now. Opponent, more High Alerts. Well, now we will go to combat. Attack. Heartless Pillage. Make you discard. Get some triggers. Get some zombies. Draw a card. Get a treasure. Castle Lochwain. Bugler Rats. Get rid of that last card. Tinybones. We got the mana. We got the mana. We got the mana. We get to draw a card. This might be the Tinybones kill. Opponent. Do they scoop it up? Untap land. Passes. We go to combat. We attack. Opponent. Down to 6. Boom. Tinybones. 10U. Yes. Well, we were definitely up against a brew, but that was spectacular. That was spectacular for Tinybones. We actually got the Tinybones kill. Woo! Sweet, sweet. Sweet, sweet. Sweet, sweet. All right. Against the odds time, we are Tinybonesing in Historic. Essentially Historic 8-rack-ish. Well, no Tinybones, but we got the backup in Waste Not. That's fine. Well, land go. Force for our opponent. And ooh, it's elves. This is going to be interesting. Well, land and Waste Not. Go. Castle Garenbrig. Elvish Archdruid. Well, I want to make our opponent start discarding, but I think we just need to kill Archdruid. We can't really let our opponent untap with that. Too risky. Play the land pass the turn. Llanowar Visionary. Draws a card. Sure. And Llanowar Elves. Alright, opponent's getting their mana up. Gets in, hits us. Well, play Castle Lochwain. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, play Liliana. Take up Liliana.
Seize the day, my man.
Discard Field of Ruin. We get a zombie. Well, that lets us play defense. Problem is our opponent is getting pretty close to potential Crater Hoof. So this is 6, 7, 8. Finale X3. Okay, gets an Archdruid. Goes to combat. We will kill Elvish Llanowar Elves.
Fine. I can see I'm
I'll play Bugler Rats. Make our opponent discard. Get a zombie. Eliminate Archdruid. Play a land. Pass the turn. We got to keep our opponent from hoofing us. That is goal 1. We're running out of removal. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's a lot of mana. Okay. That's less concerning. Incubation Druid. Adapts it. Well, we will play Rankle. Go attacking. Each player discards a card. Each player sacks a creature. Oh, it was Hoof. Thank goodness. We get a zombie. Well, we got rid of the Hoof, which is good. Imperious Perfect, grows elves. Opponent attacks. We block and block. We might be good now. Because we can keep getting in with Rankle. Well, play the land. Go to combat. Get in with Rankle. Each player sacks a creature. Each player draws a card. We sack the zombie. Tinybones. Pass the turn. Land for our opponent. Lead the Stampede. Alright, so that's going to draw a bunch of cards, probably. Well, alright. 2 Llanowars. That could be worse. Llanowar. Llanowar. That's game? That's game! Tinybones game! No one reads the Tinybones! Broke it! Broke it. Bone it. Gets in. Sure, that's acceptable. We will draw a card. We will go to combat. We will hit you with Rankle. We will choose 0 modes. And activate Tinybones. Tenyu. Woo! Tinybones! Tinybones! Wow! Got him! Got him good. Ritual of Sootsid, Ratchet Bobsid. Otherwise, I think we go down the Phyrexian arenas. We can probably go down a Heartless Pillage. We just want to kill, kill, kill. That is our main goal. Keep the elves off the battlefield. Hopefully also empty our opponent's hand. Because the way we lose is Hoof. Hoof is the big one. We got to cut one more of something. Yeah, let's go down one more Heartless Pillage. Right like that. So if we can keep the Lords off the table and get our opponent empty-handed before they get to Crater Hoof range, we should be in okay shape. Well, we can kill things. This Ratchet Bomb should be sweet. Alright. Well, no payoffs for discarding, but we're not just going to die to Lords. Alright, Clan Caller, sure. Well, we will Ratchet Bomb. Pass the turn. We would like this Heartless Pillage to get our opponent's last 2 cards, preferably. Visionary. Draws a card. Well, tick up Ratchet Bomb. Land and Murderous Rider. Get rid of the Visionary. Pass the turn. Another Visionary, another card drawn. Bone it. Gets in, hits us. Untap. Play Castle Lochwain. Let's just murder Llanowar Visionary. Pass the turn. I guess we might regret this if our opponent has Planeswalkers. Elves usually doesn't, though. Opponent Hits us. Down to 13. Another Visionary. Alright. Draws a card. I'll put a charge counter on Ratchet Bomb. Untap. Play a land. Play Murderous Rider. Eliminate Visionary. Pass the turn. Elvish Archdruid. Sure. Opponent passes. Well, play a land. Eliminate Archdruid. Murderous Rider. Get in with Murderous Rider. Start gaining back life. I guess our next goal, until we find Tinybones and Planeswalkers, is start drawing with Castle Lockwayne in a way that isn't too painful. Wow, opponent wants even more cards. What is our hand? Alright. Another Archdruid, Llanowar Elves. We do definitely need to be aware of our opponent getting to Craterhoof mana. That's a concern. We untap. Ooh, there's Tinybones. Do we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? I'll go to combat. Attack. Opponent takes it. We gain life. Play Tinybones. Heartless Pillage you. Opponent discards essentially 2 hoofs. We get to draw a card. Yes! Ritual Soot's good. It does mean Tinybones dying, but it's worth it if we need to. Opponent running out the elves. Combat. Attacks. Are we just wrathing here? I think we are. We will chump. Untap. Play the swamp. Go to combat. Attack. Just to gain the life. Opponent blocks. Opponent blocks. Murderous Riders do their thing. Ritual Soot. See you later, elves. And pass the turn. We do need to find another Tinybones at some point. Another Clan Caller. Well, that dies to Ratchet Bomb. Llanowar Elves. Sure. Yeah, let's cash in our treasure to draw a card. Alright, untap. Field of Ruin. Well. Field of Ruin the Black Source. Thin the deck, get a swamp. Pass the turn. Land for opponent, combat. Attacks. Yeah, sack Ratchet Bob. Take 1. Another Clan Caller. Well, murder the Lord. Liliana's Triumph the Llanowar. Untap. Ooh, Tinybones. Draw a card. Pass the turn. Oh, the Tinybones kill's lining up again. Opponent, what do you got? Maybe Tinybones is just busted. On second thought. Finale X3, sure. We've managed to keep our opponent's mana in check. 5, 6, 7, 8. So if we draw land, we get to really go crazy. We can Davriel empty our opponent's hand and Tinybones. Now that also works. Bugler Rats. Make you discard. Tenya. Tinybones is so insane. Draw a card, even. Add that to the list. Opponent. Passes. Well, that's a land. We'll play a land. We'll play Davriel. We'll make you discard. We'll Tinybones. We'll Tenya. Whoa! Whoa! Tiny bones! Tiny broken bones. Good lord. Good lord. That was impressive. I mean, maybe a little less impressive because we played elves on stream and it was really bad. But I'm still holding out hope that elves are better than I think. But wow, Tinybones. Okay. Okay, Tinybones legit. Whoo! Whoo! Sweet, sweet. All right. Against odds time, we are playing some Tinybones. Essentially historic, I would say historic 8-rack. Even though Davriel's the closest thing we have to a real rack. And then Tinybones, of course, is like super rack if we get 6 mana and empty our opponent's hand. I don't even know. Tinybones is insane, though. Swamp go. This hand, a little bit slow, but we got card draw, we got discard, we got removal. Land go. If our opponent's playing control, Davriel becomes even better. Ooh, planes. All right. Definitely not control. Adonto Vanguard might be a problem. We don't actually have a way to kill an indestructible creature, I don't think. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. Opponent passes. Well, land and... yeah, let's Phyrexian Arena. Get the card draw going. So how do we deal... So we're going to need to find an edict, I guess, is our main plan. All right, Sorin joining the party. Grows a Dontovan. Oh, that's a clock. Yeah, I am definitely afraid of this. This is bad. This is real bad news. Come on! We do have a couple edicts in our deck, but we're going to need to find them pretty quickly. I guess at some point we can chump block. I get to draw an extra card. We're probably going to have to spend this turn killing Sorin, which isn't great. Ooh, Rankle. Well, yeah. Murderous Rider, Sorin. Rankle isn't bad. That's a way we can potentially get rid of a Danto Vanguard. Legion Lieutenant, okay. Knight of the oh boy, Knight of the Eben Legion. Opponent gets in, hits us. Oh boy, down to 8. Yes, is real bad. Real bad. Opponent grows a Knight of the Eben Legion. We draw a card. Yeah, Danto Vanguard's good. Land and Waste Not. Well, play the land. Play Murderous Rider. Play Tinybones. Yeah, opponent might have got us here. Pass the turn. Now we're locked into chumping. Yeah. Yeah, Danto Vanguard's a card. We have a lot of removal, but not all of it gets rid of a Danto Vanguard, especially when it's up to a 5-power indestructible attacker. Oh God. All right. Well, you got us. Sure. Woo! Wowie zowie. All right. So that was interesting. Huh. Well, I think we want Gifted Etherboard. We want Ritual of Soot. Viridian Plague, no. Ratchet Bomb, probably no. We'll go down Phyrexian Arena. We'll go down... Liliana actually can get rid of a Danto Vanguard. So maybe we actually do have a decent amount of ways. Go down the Heartless Pillages, run it like that. All right. Well, we get to be on the play. And we actually do have a reasonable number of answers to our opponent's threats. Vampires is really good, though, although... I think the real version of Vampires is... This hand is really land heavy, but it has Ritual of Soot, which is pretty insane. Some for our opponent. Knight of the Eben Legion. Land and... Yeah, it's just... Bugler Rat. Make our opponent discard. Pitches the land. I like Mono Black Veto Vampires better, personally. Castle Lockwayne. Gifted Etherborn. Opponent gets in for 1, sure. I'll play Field of Ruin. And yeah, let's just pass for now. If our opponent doesn't do anything, we'll probably just blow up Castle Lockwayne. Godless Shrine. Ooh, opponent does have Veto. Interesting. Opponent attacks. Well, we will chump. We do get Veto drained. But, I mean, we get to follow this up with Ritual of Soot. I think we still blow up Castle Lockwayne. Don't really want our opponent drawing cards post-Wrath. Get a Swamp. Ooh, Liliana too. Well, land and Ritual is it. Board swept. And a couple of good cards left over in hand. Opponent plays a land and Gifted Etherborn. Passes. Well, play your own Gifted Etherborn. Play a Swamp and pass the turn. Sure. We'll see what our opponent plays. We might eliminate Gifted Etherborn. Opponent got back, gets it, hits us. Yeah, let's wait. We're still at 14, this is fine. Opponent could play a Sorin, and that would be more important. Another Gifted Etherboard. Well, alright, in that case, kill Gifted Etherboard. Untap. Liliana. Castle Lockwayne. Liliana's Triumph. Get the card and the creature. Take it up, hit you for 3. Come on, Tinybones. Come on, Tinybones. Opponent passes. Ritual of Soot. Well, let's draw a card. I don't mind holding on to this Ritual of Soot. Swamp. Take up Liliana. Discard the Swamp. Pass the turn. Liliana too big to eliminate. Opponent passes. Well, take up Liliana. Discard Field of Ruin. Opponent discards a Swamp. Yeah, let's Castle Lockwayne. I want to fight Tinybones! Swamp. Play the Swamp, pass the turn. Legion's Landing, sure. I think we might just ultimate. Yeah, let's just ultimate Liliana. An opponent scoops it up, and that went way better. We just killed. So in game 1, we saw what can happen if our opponent has an insane draw on the play. Game 2, we got to see what our deck can do, just killing all our opponent's stuff. Sadly, no Tinybones that game, but that was still a pretty impressive performance for our deck. This deck actually seems pretty good. Maybe Tinybones is better than against the odds. All right, on to game 3. We are on the draw, which is a bit scary, especially if our opponent has a fast curve out hand and we have a slow hand. They can get us with the aggro start potentially. Ooh, okay. Well, this will keep. We have 3 removal spells and Tinybones. And opponent does not have a 1-drop, which is good. Land go. Don't have any way to make our opponent discard yet. Land, and there's a Danto Vanguard. Well, good news is we actually have an Edict. So we will just get rid of that. We got an answer for the indestructible creature. That was clutch. Opponent, what you got? Now I actually really like where we're at. Legion Lieutenant. Well, play the land, pass the turn. I think we just Murderous Rider to be efficient. Sorin. So kill Legion Lieutenant. Opponent puts the Legion Lieutenant into play. Well, we play a land. We play Eliminate on Sorin. Play Tinybones. Pass the turn. Does our opponent have removal for our namesake card? Swamp and attacks. We'll take it. 16, sure. Passes. Well, play a land. Davriel. You discard.
Let's tidy up in there.
Burglar Rats. You discard. Oh, all right. Tinybones, give us those cards. We'll get in. We need 1 land, and we can start 10-ing our opponent with Tinybones, which is going to close out this game really quick. This is where Tinybones is just absurd. Opponent does get to draw with Lockwayne, which is something for them. All right, there's a land. All right. Opponent takes 2. Oh, boy. Well, if we get our opponent empty-handed, this Tinybones is just going to be insane. Down to 16. Opponent needs to kill the Tinybones, and they need to kill it very quickly. We will bugle Chump to keep Davriel around. You know, sure. Don't need you. What you got about it? What you got? Legion's Landing, sure. That is acceptable. Knight of the Even. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, that's acceptable. We will play a Swamp. So actually, we can't win this turn, though, right? We can 10 our opponent, but then they kill Davriel. Well, I think we still 10 our opponent. Put our opponent to 6. Pass the turn. Opponent goes to 4. They do get to gain back a little bit of life. Opponent. So they get to gain back life. Wow, going face. All right, no blocks. But our opponent's got to make sure to keep cards in hand. Oh, opponent. Okay. Did they draw a removal spell? Oh, game. Wow, people have still not learned how to play. Tinybones! Tinybones! So good. So incredibly good. That was a Tinybones game. Like, that was it. That was... Our opponent was at 20. I think, what do we get? 1 Davriel hit in from our opponent being low on cards? And it was just Tinybones, activate Tinybones. Opponent's dead. Like, it is actually really good. Woohoo! Tinybones. Sweet, sweet. All right. Against the odds time, we are Tinybonesing. Pioneer 8-rack, essentially. No Tinybones, but we got a lot of discard stuff, including a couple of Raxy Planeswalkers. Swampco. Not the fastest start. We don't do anything until turn 3, but opponent... Ooh, Temple Garden. We can kill many things, though, which is good. Well, play a land, play Davriel. Make our opponent discard. Alright, it's an Uro. Opponent, Island, and Teferi. Digs up. Well, play a Swamp, play Liliana. Discard. Discard. Wow, we are tearing our opponent's hand apart. Opponent. Cash it takes down Teferi. Desperate. Opponent passes. We play a Swamp. We murder Teferi. Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. Waste not. Davriel, make you discard. We draw a card. Liliana, make you discard. Discard the waste not. Pass the turn. Opponent can get back Uro, but then we kill Uro. Yeah. Opponent gets back Uro. Plays a Field of Ruin. Takes up to Fairy. Well, we will Murderous Rider. Kill Uro. Liliana, tick up. Get a zombie. Pass the turn. Opponent bounces a zombie, draws a card, plays a land. Passes. Well, take up Liliana. We get to draw a card.
Doing things my way.
Murderous Rider. Swamp. Pass the turn. Opponent's going to start scrying. 2 cards to the bottom. Untaps, draws. Oh, what a... That is our opponent's best draw. That is amazingly good. Liliana's Triumph. Well, hit ya. All right. Well, our opponent's now officially back in this game. That was the exact draw they needed. Opponent plays a land, passes. I'll go to combat, attack. And now we're drawing stuff that doesn't do anything. Wow, that's a kind of a disappointing turn. Opponent gets to keep scrying. We do have ways to answer this in our deck. We have not drawn them. 2 cards to the top. Uh-oh. Yeah. Opponent gets back to Fairy. Bounces waste not to draw a card. Plays a big to Fairy. Draws a card. Alright, this is bad. Real bad. Opponent untaps 2 lands. We will play a waste not. We will go to combat. We will attack Little to Fairy. We will Heartless Pillage. Make you discard. Opponent opts to the top. We draw a card, we make some mana. Play Tinybones. Play Waste Not. Draw a Swamp. This does mean Uro can return. Opponent draws with Teferi. Opponent's gonna get back Uro. Draws a card. Yeah. Land into play untapped. Narset joins the fray. Opponent's going off, going off. Gets an Ugin, and, well, unless we make our opponent discard that. That is the game. Arena doesn't do it. And, alright, we will scoop it up. Yep. Well, that was good for our opponent. That was good. That was real good. We got off to a good start, but our opponent just stacked up all the Planeswalkers in the world, and all the Planeswalkers in the world were enough to steal that win. We will go down Rankles, I think. At least one. We will go down Liliana's Triumph. We will go down... Rankle and... I guess one Liliana. Run it like that. Oh! Well, that was a good start, but our opponent eventually just was drawing so many cards that it didn't really matter. Super Friends, eh? No lands, no keep. Alright, well, this will keep. This hand is the definition of medium. We will keep. We'll put a Murderous Rider to the bottom. Swamp go. Opponent. Untap land for some reason. Passes. Well, play a land, play Waste Not. Pass the turn. Opponent opts. To the bottom, draws a card. Land for our opponent, passes. Well, play Bugler Rat. Make our opponent discard. Discards to Fairy. Not a land. Blast Zone for our opponent. And to Fairy, number 2. Takes up. Not a land. Uh-oh. Well, hit to Fairy. Yeah, this is heading the very wrong direction. Tinybones go. Oh no. Oh no, opponent. Oh, the mana screw is on and really doing its thing. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good at all. Opponent. Hey, it's a land. Takes up to Fairy. Well, we finally drew a land. Go to combat. Seems like our opponent has instant speed Wrath. Alright, Shatter the Sky. Well, we will Heartless Pillage our opponent. Make him discard. 2 Planeswalkers. Holy Planeswalkers. We get to draw 2. Pass the turn. Opponent taps. Land. Going to bounce waste, not draw a card. Yup. Elspeth Conquers Death. Well, play a swamp. Heartless Pillage. The problem is our opponent is going to get back a big Teferi.
No, I am not making.
Opponent passes. Well, swamp. Phyrexian Arena. Yeah, Elspeth Conquers Death is a heck of a magic card. Opponent gets to scry. So they get back big Teferi for free. And they kept us from doing two things last turn. Leaves one on top. And we know there's Ugins in their deck. Yeah, here comes Teferi. Sure. Draws with Teferi. Uro. Draws a card. Takes up Teferi.
I have a plan.
Untaps. Well, we get to draw an extra card. Swamp is helpful, as is Field of Ruin. Well, we will... So we got to deal with big Teferi. So we play the land. We Heartless Pillage our opponent. We Murderous Rider big Teferi. Uro is coming, though. And our opponent's still scrying. 2 to the top, okay. That's not the number to the top we wanted to see. Opponent bounces Phyrexian Arena. So I think we're seeing the bad matchup for the Tinybones strategy. We've done a great job of emptying our opponent's hand. The problem is all of our opponent's threats essentially say draw a card, and some of them say draw several cards. And that makes it tough. That makes it real tough. I'll play Field of Ruin. Sorceress Spyglass. Name Teferi Master. Yeah, they all could say draw a card. Name Teferi Master of Time. Blow up Blast Zone. Get a land. Play Phyrexian Arena. Pass the turn. Opponent. Well, we know they're getting extra draw with Uro and hitting us for a million. Uro draws a card. Untap land. Okay, that's not a good sign. Alright, another Uro. Uro 3, I think this is. Draws a card. Teferi Master Time, currently shut down at least. Takes up Teferi. Well, we get to draw an extra card. Bugler Rat. And Swamp. We'll play the Swamp. Play Waste Not. Play Bugler Rat. Make our opponent discard. We get to draw a card. Play Tinybones. And pass the turn. Draw a card from Tinybones. It's a Swamp. Opponent takes up Teferi. Attacks. Draws a card. Tap land. Well, we will jump. It's possible that Uro should have never been printed. We get to draw an extra card. Liliana. And eliminate. Alright, so play a land. Play Liliana. Take up Liliana. Make our opponent discard. We'll discard the Swamp. Opponent discards a land, so we get mana. Well, eliminate Uro. Tinybones hit Teferi.
Don't make another move.
Murderous Rider. Go. Draw a card. Alright. Opponent gets to scry. So the big problem here is we're on the Ugin clock. And once Ugin hits the battlefield, it exiles all of our stuff. And that's really bad. Opponent leaves a card on top. That might be Ugin. We're also on the Uro clock. Everything our opponent does draws cards, which makes it very tricky. This Bant deck is something, even in Historic. Bout it. This is basically just a standard Bant deck. Or very, very close to just a standard Bant deck. Uro draws a card, gains some life. Yeah, puts a land into play. Scavenging Ooze to attack the graveyards. Takes up.
Don't worry, got this.
Teferi. We draw. Ooh, Sorceress Spyglass. Alright. That's a card. So, opponent can activate Ooze twice. Well, play Sorceress Spyglass. Name Scavenging Ooze. Liliana. Kill Uro. Go to combat. Attack Teferi.
me to phase you out of time?
Play a land. Pass the turn. Opponent scries. 2 to the top. Okay, so we will Field of Ruin, Castle Vantress. Force our opponent to shuffle. I mean, there still is risk that we get Ugin. That is the biggest issue here. Get a swamp. 10 our opponent. Opponent scries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so they can't draw land and a Ugin this turn at least. 2 to the top again. Well, Tinybones, Tenya. Opponent draws. It was unfortunate. Opponent has Shatter the Sky. Okay. That's actually not the end of the world. Takes up to Fairy.
Let's try this.
Passes. We get to draw Waste Not and Murderous Rider. Alright, so let's think about this. Opponent's got no cards in hand. Tinybones. Tenyu. Take up Liliana. Discard Waste Not.
We're doing things my way.
Play a swamp. Pass the turn, pass the turn. We could get the Tinybones kill next turn if nothing goes wrong. Even through this Uro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Draws a card. Still very, very worried about Ugin. Opponent takes up to Fairy.
I've got time.
Passes. We get to draw a card. It's a swamp. And eliminate. Well, play the land. Take up Liliana. Discard. Eliminate. We draw a card.
You think
Murderous Rider. Kill Uro. Oh, no! Oh, no. Oh, no. Wow. And that's game. Oh, my goodness. That was ridiculously close. So we can 10 our opponent. We can draw a card, but none of this matters. Yeah, all right. Sure. They can just bounce Tinybones and attack. Oh, that's brutal. Wow. Well, the fact that our opponent drew 33 cards that game, because this deck, this is like 2020 Magic deck. I think this is a really good example of just 2020 Magic. If you look at our opponent, so we're playing a discard-based deck. Look at the threats our opponent's playing. Okay, so Scavenge Use, that doesn't draw a card. Teferi draws a card. Teferi draws a card. Uro draws many cards and comes back from the graveyard. Ugin essentially draws a card with the ultimate. That makes it tough. That makes it tough. Oh, I wanted that one. Well, all right. All right. Against the odds time, we are playing some Tinybones at Historic, making our opponents discard some cards, hopefully. Hopefully, perhaps, maybe. Well, no lands, no keep. No lands, no keep. Yeah, all right, we'll keep this. Put a Davriel to the bottom. I mean, we're still going to need to draw lands, but if we do, this hand could be interesting. Opponent, Scryland, to the bottom. That's not a land. Well, Swamp go. Come on, lands! This hand is very 3-drop heavy. Or like Tinybones or Waste Not would be interesting. Fabled Passage for our opponent. Cracks Fabled Passage. So I assume this is a deck that's just trying to ramp into Uro. Or ramp into Ugin with Uro. Or rather. Opponent gets a Plains. Well, that's a land. That's good. Well, play the land. Bugler Rat, make you discard. So this is probably just the standard Bant deck, I would assume. Or the historic version of the standard Bant deck, which is basically the standard Bant deck, but you get 5-mana Teferi. Teferi Tribal might be a good name for it. Boat it. Gross Spiral. Draws a card. Plains. Well, I think we're going to keep the discard plan going. Play a land, play Davriel. Make our opponent discard.
Don't think you'll be me.
Shatter this guy. We're not going to attack in case there's a Nissa. Golos, okay. So it's Field of the Dead. Yeah. Well, Davriel you.
Perish the thought.
Play a land, Liliana.
this
Take up Liliana.
land on
Discard
my-
Davriel. Well, we have officially emptied our opponent's hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. They have 5 different lands. 6 different lands. Alright, that's probably a land on top. Bone it. Golos. What's it doing? Gets in at Liliana. Well, we will block. Play a swamp. Play Phyrexian Arena. Take up Liliana. Pass the turn. I guess we probably should have killed the Field of the Dead, I guess. Opponent. Yeah, I think that was a slight misplay. Oh, no. That's bad. That's real bad. Opponent. Text Davriel.
Good luck with your
Now, we get to draw a card. It's a Tinybones in a swamp. So we will, let's see, 1-2. Field of the Dead. Blown up with Field of Ruin. Get a swamp. Play a land. Play Tinybones. Kill Crosses. Pass the turn. About it. Alright, Uro. Draws a card. Uro. Draws a card. Puts a land into play. To the bottom. Do we want Tinybones or do we want Liliana? Alright, we're gonna let it die.
Let's never
We get to draw a card. It's a swamp. And oh dear. Oh, play Field of Ruin. Draw a card. Oh, that was not a great turn cycle. Pass the turn. That was real bad. Opponent untaps. Ay ay ay. Ay 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 ay. Opponent. Elvish Rejuvenator goes digging for a land. It's a Fabled Passage. Growth Spiral. There's the Field of the Dead. Well, we will... Yeah. Let that go. Opponent gets him a Golos. We drop to 13. End of turn. Blow up another Field of the Dead. Oh, we're going to need to draw some good cards here. Get a Swamp. We draw a card. Rankle. And Castle Lockwain. Well, play Castle Lockwain. Play Rankle. Go to combat. Hit our opponent. Each player discards a card. Each player... Yeah, just each player discards a card. We discard the Swamp. Liliana.
run now.
Kills
Otherwise, they're
Golos.
alive.
We draw a card. Oh, we're fighting and clawing. Another Crosses would make our hopes and dreams go away pretty quickly. So Uro's gonna return. Yeah, there's Uro. Opponent draws a card. No land. 6 mana. Cracks. Forest. Growth Spiral. Explore. Tags Liliana. Alright, so we will kill Rejuvenator. Liliana dies.
I'll be even more power.
Castle Lockwain and Swamp. Ugh. Oh, play Castle Lockwain. Actually, let's go to combat. Attack with Rankle. Hit our opponent. Each player discards, each player draws. We need to get rid of this Uro. Another Tinybones. Oh, play Davriel. Make our opponent discard.
Let me pick your brain for a minute.
Pass the turn. Draw. Okay, Murderous Rider. Murderous Rider could stop the Uro. Golos. Yup. I'm assuming this is another Field of the Dead? No, Triome. Well, we will murder Uro. Opponent attacks Davriel. Will Tinybones block. So Uro returns. Boy, I really dislike Uro. Untap land. Uro again. Infinite Uros. Yeah. So Uro draws a card, etc., etc., etc. Explore, draws a card. Opponent passes. We get to draw a card. It's a swamp. We draw another card. It's another swamp. Well, play a land. Can we win here? We can hit for 4. Oh, is this lethal? Is this lethal? We can hit for 4. We can hit for 10 and 2. This might actually do it. Oh my goodness, I think we're gonna steal this. So we play Tinybones. We go to combat. We attack our opponent. Hit our opponent. Each player discards, each player draws. We Davriel, make you discard.
Let's tidy up.
We Tinybones, put you to 10. Davriel, kill ya? Kill ya? 16 ya with Tinybones through the Uros and the Goloses and the Field of Deads? Whoo, that was a Tinybone special. That was the Tinybone special for sure. I will say, I don't think there's another card in all of Historic for sure, and maybe all of Magic, that would have let us win like that. Our opponent was at 16. They had been Urowing and Golosing. We had slogged through 2 Field of the Deads. And Tinybones, wow. Wow. Insanely good. Wow. Okay. That was spectacular. Well, we get Virulent Plague as our zombie hoser. Do we want to bring in Grafdigger's Cage to shut down? I wish I knew what else our opponent had. Crossus is annoying. Could be worth considering something like Necromentia in this deck. In the sideboard, that is. We'll go down Liliana's Triumph. We'll go down a Heartless Pillage. We'll go down a Eliminate. And I think we do go up the Grafdigger's Cages. If they have Ugins, we want Spyglass. Duress is probably fine-ish. Is there anything else we can cut? Alright, let's go down the Heartless Pillages for Duresses. Try it like that. Alright. What are you up to, opponent? What are you up to? Well, we got Tinybones for days. And that can draw us cards with Bugler Rats. And we'll keep this. This is fine. So the reason that I think Necromentia might be worth it is specifically for stuff like Hydroid Crosses that can undo a lot of our work. As I say, you can't make your opponent discard the top of their deck, and that's where Crosses can be devastating in the late game. Opponent to the top. Well, Swamp, go. See how good this Grafdigger's Cage is. Stopping Uro from coming back again and again does seem relevant. Well, land and Tinybones. Go. Tap line. Well, Field of Ruin. Bugler Rats make you discard. Grafdigger's Cage. Get in with Tinybones. Pass the turn, draw a card. Alright, so we got all the Tinybones we need, although eventually we can discard them to, like, Liliana's and such. Opponent, tap land. Rejuvenator. No, you just want more discard, mostly. Alright, opponent gets a land. Liliana. Well, that's Bugler Rats, make you discard. Come on, lands! And no more Tinybones. As much as we want Tinybones, we don't want more. Go attacking. Opponent blocks. Down to 18. We draw not a land. Alright. Opponent. 3 cards in hand. Growth Spiral. Getting on this Liliana would be great. Crack's Fabled Passage. Our hand's not bad, despite the fact that we're Tinybones flooding. Forest. And not having Uro come back again and again is going to be sweet. Rejuvenator. So our opponent seems to be playing mostly towards making zombies at some point. Well, I guess we're on the play Phyrexian Arena plan to try to start hitting land drops. Go attacking. Opponent goes to 17. Growth Spiral, sure. Land. We can answer the first Field of the Dead to the top. Awkward. Cracks. Island. We draw, alright, Field of the Dead. An Arena. Well, play the land. Go to combat. Get in with Tinybones. Liliana. Do you have counters? Alright, opponent's got a veto. Down to 1 card in hand, though. A single card. They really need, like, a Crossus. I mean, Ugin would be bad, but it doesn't just straight up beat us. Play a land. Go to combat. Attack. Yeah, it's Liliana again. You got another one. They do. Alright, another veto. Sure. Pass the turn. Opponent draws. To Fairy.
This isn't a fight.
Ooh, so this can let our opponent get back
I'll protect you.
Uro once. So our opponent is going to get back Uro and draw a card. We'd really like to draw land. Opponent. Yeah. Draws a card. Puts a Field of the Dead. That's not great. Not a land, not a land. Well, we need to... I guess Field of the Dead's going to get to live. Ouch. Well, we will play Grafdigger's Cage. We will murder Uro. And pass the turn. Boy, missing these land drops has been really rough. Opponent. Really, really rough. We might be losing this now. Land, zombie. Oh, dear God. Golos. 2 zombies. Yeah, I think our opponent got there. Yeah. So zombies for days. Opponent takes it up.
Here we go.
Gets in. Well, Virulent Plague, please. Hey, it's a land finally. And a land finally. A little late to the party for the lands, though. Way too late for the lads. So late that I think the game's just over, actually. Murder Golos. Murderous Rider. Pass the turn. Ulamog. And we scoop it up. Alright. Well, we missed too many land drops there, unfortunately. Yeah, run it back. So, we started off alright, but then in the mid-game, we just missed, like, a bunch of land drops, so we were stuck doing one thing a turn. And our opponent, of course, Teferi, Grafdigger's Cage, blah, 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 Field of the Dead. Alright, we'll keep this. I mean, Waste Not is, it's not Tinybones, but it can be pretty sweet and generate a lot of value. And we do have ways to keep our opponent discarding. Well, land go. Opponent, tap land. To the top. Well, land and Waste Not. Pass the turn. Opponent, untap land. Explore, draws a card. Ooh, no land. Oh, they put it in later. Alright, Field of the Dead. I'll play a land, play Davriel. Make you discard. Alright, so we get a zombie. That's not bad. That's a way we can pressure a Planeswalker. Opponent, Temple Epiphany, Scries to the top. Rejuvenator. We're gonna need to find... Alright, play Waste Not. Make you discard. 2 zombies. Get in with a zombie. Opponent to 16. Opponent taps. What do they have? What do they have? Explore. Draws a card. No land. Well, Davriel make you discard. Alright, well, we're the zombie deck now. Zombie, zombie. Bugler Rat. Make you discard. Draw, draw. Land. Go to combat. Attack you. We're out zombieing them. We're out zombieing. We're out zombieing our opponent with 2 Field of Deads in play with Waste Not in a Tinybones deck. It's actually happening. Opponent, Growth Spiral. We're 1 short of lethal this turn. Land, untap. Well, now we're not any short of lethal. Opponent passes. Oh, scoops it up! Scoops it up! Out zombieing Field of the Dead with Tinybones not deck. We got the Tinybones kill in game 1 and the Waste Not kill in game 3. Whoo! Alright. Deck's sweet. Deck's super sweet. So what do we learn this week about Tinybones in Historic? And the deck was actually really solid. We went 4-1 with Tinybones, and more importantly, Tinybones itself was absolutely insane. Going into this, the deck looked pretty sweet. I like the new Liliana. I like Davriel. Waste Not's a cool payoff. We got a lot of synergy. There's enough pieces to make this like discard 8-rack style deck work, but I was really curious at how good Tinybones itself would be, and now I can confidently say Tinybones is really good. The card draw is a nice bonus, but what I was mostly surprised about is, in this shell in specific, how often we were killing people with Tinybones. Like, getting our opponent empty-handed with our discard spells, and because our opponent's casting spells, and then just being able to, like, tenue with Tinybones. We had that one game we were able to, like, hit with Rankle to get our opponent empty-handed, drain for 10 with Tinybones, and then get the last 2 with Davriel to kill our opponent without ever having dealt damage the whole rest of the game. I think they took some damage from, like, Shocklands or something. So, Tinybones was absolutely absurd. The shell itself, so pretty competitive. We got good removal against aggro. We got good discard planeswalkers against control. The only matchup we had trouble in, and I think it's just a bad matchup, is we played against like Bant Mythics or whatever you want to call that deck, Teferi Tribal, I don't even know, Uros and all the Teferis and all the planeswalkers, Hydroid Crosses. That matchup is really tough because all of our opponent's threats just incidentally accidentally, unintentionally happen to draw cards, or maybe intentionally, but you know what I'm saying. They just accidentally draw cards with other threats, so even if we can make our opponent discard most of their hand, or even all of their hand, the problem is they're going to top deck a Crosses, or top deck a 5-mana Teferi and start drawing extra cards, or even a 3-mana Teferi and start drawing extra cards, or draw an Uro and draw a card, and then get it back and draw more cards, and attack and draw more cards. So that matchup felt really bad, but we took down walls, we beat elves, we beat vampires, we beat Golos, Field of the Dead. So all around, I think Tinybones discard's actually pretty legit. Also, even though Tinybones was definitely the all-star of the deck and was super sweet, shout out to Liliana. Liliana is actually a pretty effective card, especially backed by Davriel. We now have a really solid discard curve. We have enough good discard stuff to make cards like Waste not work. We got these good discard Planeswalkers that also punish our opponent for being empty-handed, so they kind of pay off themselves in the long run. So the deck was synergistic. It was good. Tinybones was insane. The rest of it was insane. Historic is super fun. So I really enjoyed this deck. Hopefully you did too. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.